Państwa bardzo serdecznie. Nazywam się Jolanta Kurska. Mam zaszczyt reprezentować Fundację imienia profesora Bronisława Geremka, która jest organizatorem dzisiejszej konferencji.
What has changed with understanding of freedom and with the threats to freedom within last 15-20 years after the big changes in 1989, end of the Cold War, and secondly with globalized world. 20 years ago we have national states that were strong. Now we have national states that are weak. We don't have international global government, and we have new threats. The first threat is the impact of the big media and computer technology and basically things I call electronic democracy, and the ability to use various devices for surveillance, for following people, for getting information about the people, and on one hand by the states, on the other hand by the corporations, monopolies, and people who exercise ever stronger power over our pockets and also our minds through advertisement.
More and more we are also seeing a decline in the power of the state, as well as a decline in the will of the state to regulate other actors to ensure that they are abiding by the human rights law. I would say that the corporations are financially more advanced and powerful than many of the states, and they also, in certain ways, what we can say, take the states or push the states to their own will, to abide by their own will, to serve the interests of the corporations, because they hold capital flight as a threat. If you do not go by my will, if you do not provide the conditions to maximize the profit, I will take my business to elsewhere.
I think there is a tendency by governments to want to give up freedom in exchange for security. But I think there are also forces within each society, often non-governmental organizations, which struggle to maintain freedom and are sometimes successful, and that in the process they contribute to the legitimacy of the state, and they prevent the giving up of freedom too readily.
Most of human rights are not absolute, meaning that they can be restricted, limited, sometimes even suspended for a certain period of time. And for many reasons, security comes as a justified reason for that. However, in too many times and in too many occasions, we allow our human rights to be restricted for the reasons of security, and we don't have enough or adequate control over how security is exercised. So we don't actually know if our human rights must be as suspended or as limited as they are because of security. If we have to have our human rights restricted, then we have also to have very strong control and oversight, assurances that it has to be done, that it is done in accordance with the law, that it is proportionate, that it lasts only as long as it is necessary, and so on.